Great morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Breakfast Club call. It is April 13th, 2023. My name is Pamela Pacheco. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome. If you are joining us again, welcome back. I have the absolute honor, pleasure, and privilege of being your host. And I remember when I first started entrepreneurship and I started taking it seriously, right? It was a decade ago this year, and I was looking forward to these type of calls. And not only was I looking forward to these type of calls for the mentorship and the information, but I was looking forward to these type of calls for the inspiration, because I've always been very mindful of how you start the day sets the tone for your day. So garbage in is garbage out, greatness in is greatness out. So welcome to the call. If you joined us from the morning and from the beginning of the call, you guys were hearing Earl Nightingale. And if you have heard the 13 Proven Steps to Riches by Earl Nightingale, if you have not, it is absolutely amazing. It comes from the book Think and Grow Rich, absolutely one of my favorites. So this morning, we are going to talk about persistence. And I think that when it comes to persistence, right? Can anybody tell me, what does it mean to persist for you? Like, what does persistence mean for you? Type it in the chat. Again, make sure you are sending to all panelists and attendees. And somebody said, continue until, press on until. Again, make sure you guys are sending it to all panelists and attendees, but amazing, amazing. So by definition, right? Persistence means the continued or prolonged existence of something, right? It's firm or an obstinate continuance in course of action in spite of difficulty, in spite of opposition. It's just to press on. Very similar to, we've heard, yes, not need to keep pushing no matter what. Absolutely, absolutely. So what I wanted to talk to you guys today about is that, and Earl Nightingale is one of my favorite books that he wrote was The Strangest Secret. And if you have not read that book, I highly recommend it. It is a gem in this industry of network marketing, in the industry of business, period. And he basically says that, success is defined as the progressive realization of a worthy goal. And more than anything, it's the key that it's a progressive realization. We have to tackle success on a micro level, on a small level. And what does that mean is when we have this big astronomical goal, right? So for example, my goal by our next event of Freedom Academy is the rank of Ruby. And I understand of what that looks like. Well, that is the macro goal. That is the big goal. But what are some micro goals that I can set up each and every little things that I can do every day that are going to get me closer to that? Well, one of those is making calls, right? One of those is working on my mindset. One of those is prospecting. Another is networking, because when we're thinking of, this progressive realization of, it's like, what can we do today that is going to get us closer? What can you do that you can control? See, I've learned very early on in this industry, the first time, like, has anybody ever set a goal and you hit the goal, you didn't hit the goal and you got discouraged? Like, am I the only one? Because I've definitely got discouraged. I've definitely have beat myself up. I think that we are our biggest critics. And I've learned yes, thank you for your transparency. Thank you for your vulnerability, Delicia, Michelle, absolutely. And there's a lot more people on this call that I'm sure you have set a goal and you have not hit it on your target date, and it's okay. But I will tell you this, it's knowing, it's like, okay, well, I can't control the results, but I can control my activity. I can control my mindset. I can control how I think. I can control what I say. I can control what I do, right? So the things that you can control are what you think, what you say, what you do, how you feel. So you can control the controllables and let the rest be up to God. And it's one of those things that I've learned over time. It's being aggressive with your action, right? But being patient with your results. And it's basically, it's not letting the fear of time that it will take to accomplish something stand in the way of you doing it, because the reality is that the time is going to pass anyway. So we might as well put that passing time to the best possible use. So when I ask myself every day, it's one of my affirmations is, I am so at my highest and best use. I am so grateful that everything I do prospers in his name. I am so grateful that every single person that I show secret to gets it the first time, goes 50-50 without me, and builds big teams without me, and we walk stage crown royale. So what does that look like for you? What are you visualizing? What are you speaking over your life? What are you speaking over your business? Because everything comes to a man or a woman if we would only wait, right? And Earl Nightingale says that a lot, and is saying that by long meditation to the conviction that a human being with a settled purpose must accomplish it. And nothing will resist a will that will stake even existence for its fulfillment, because you are now and you do become what you think about. And two thoughts cannot occupy the mind at the same time. So it's either you're going to fuel the faith or you're going to fuel the fear. You're either going to fuel the expectancy and fuel the goal, or you're going to fuel the opposition. You're going to fuel the obstacle. And one thing I know about God is that he don't play about me. He don't play about you. And he never, ever, ever lets hard work go unnoticed. Can you attest to that? And you may have not seen it in your business as of yet, but that does not mean that it will not come to fruition if you believe. That does not mean it will not come to fruition if you are being persistent, right? This is one of the things that I live by is victory belongs to he or she that is the most persevering, he or she that is the most persistent. Are you consistently persistent? See, I know this, that if you pound the pavement long enough, it's going to break. Like I'm sitting in my desk right now, right, at my office. And if I keep pounding this and pounding this and pounding this and pounding this and pounding this desk, eventually it's going to break, because it is not going to stand the pounding that I'm doing. Guess what? The same things happen in our life. The same things happen in our goal. I got to work out in this morning at 6:15 in the morning. And, you know, Facebook be like reminding you, right? It'd be like airing out your dirty laundry. And I'm looking at this same, not the same workout, because I think I would have died if I would have tried this a year or two ago. But I'm looking at this and I'm looking at my body and I was like, man, girlfriend, you came a long way. You're not where you want to be at, but you came a long way. And it's because I have just consistently been persistent. So it's not only being consistently persistent in your faith, it's not only being consistently persistent in your fitness, it's not only being consistently persistent in your family, it's not only being consistently persistent in your fortune, it's not only being consistently persistent in your fun, it's being consistently persistent in everything that matters to you, and everything that you want to see, that you want to come to fruition. Because here's the reality, right? We hear this all the time. It's, yes, Denise, like chopping down a tree or watering a flower seed. Absolutely. It's like you got to keep planting the seeds, and eventually the harvest will come. Eventually the harvest will grow. Absolutely. And what I love about, you know, just in this space, in this season, in this energy, in this frequency, it's like success is a frequency. It's an energy. It's a type of it. And you feel it. Right? You feel that big momentum, you feel that energy coming, and you're just like, listen, it's coming. Like when I'm sitting down with somebody and I'm telling them, like, if you thought the last 10 years I did anything, you're mistaken. I promise you, this is going to be bigger than you've ever imagined. And I am going to destroy this. Like I will be in the Network Marketing Hall of Fame. Trust me, mark my words, because I'm impacting so many people's lives. I'm going to help so many people get free. I'm going to help hundreds of thousands of people travel the world with their family. I'm going to help hundreds of thousands of people live a purpose-driven life. I'm going to help hundreds of thousands of people become the best version of themselves. And when I look at somebody, whether it's on Zoom, they're going to feel that energy. Whether it's in person, it's going to electrify them, because I am so certain and I have zero doubts about what it is that I'm doing, about who I'm doing it with, and where it is that I'm going. But are you consistently persistent enough until, like, what does that until look like? I don't know, but I really know this, is that everything that's really worthwhile in life came to us for free, right? Our mind, our soul, our body, our hopes, our dreams, our ambitions, our intelligence, our love of family, children, and friends. All of these priceless possessions are free, but the things that cost us money are actually very cheap and can be replaced at any time. So we've got to put the fuel in before we can expect the heat. Just like you can't go to a car and ride it on E. You got to keep putting fuel in yourself. You got to keep putting fuel in your dreams. You got to keep putting fuel in your goals. So we've got to be of service first before we can expect money. We can't be concerned with just the monetary, because I will tell you, if all you're doing is chasing the money, you will be gone before you even got started. You will be like, and people, it amazes me. And I was having a conversation with one of our leaders and mentees, and I was talking to them, and she was like, I just don't understand why people, they do this or they do that. And I was just like, listen, the reality is that when you chase the money runs, because it's like, if you go and ask everybody on this call, there's about 30 of us, do you want to be a millionaire? Guess what all of you guys are going to say? Type it in the chat right now. If I ask you, do you want to be a millionaire? What are you going to say? What are you going to say? Make sure you're sending it to all panelists and attendees. Yup, Michelle. Yup. Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely. Yes, Vicky. Yes, Tiffany. Yes, Didi. Yes. Yes, Nati. Yes, yes, of course. But I believe God has to have a filtration process. Yes, Keontae. Yes, Suheni. But God has to have some type of filtration process. And what does that filtration process look like? How bad do you want it? How much are you going to persist and persevere until? What does that look like for you? What are you? Yes, absolutely. We're called to servanthood. We reap the rewards after. But are you planting the seeds long enough? Because a lot of times we want the harvest, and it's like we want the tree to grow. And the tree is not going to grow if you don't nourish it. So it's the same with our businesses. And it's the same with our dreams. It's the same with our goals. So it's like, before we can expect the money, be of service, build, work, dream, create, do this. And you're going to find that there is no limit to the prosperity and abundance that will come to you. Right. And Earl, that's, again, I'm not the smartest tool in the toolbox, or the sharpest tool in the shed, whatever that is. You see, you don't got to be smart to do this. Right. But that is one of my favorite quotes from Earl Nightingale in The Strangest Secret, because it's like, it's having that mindset and showing, look, when you're focused on the bigger picture, when you're focused on the mission, when you're focused on serving, when you're focused on freedom, when you're focusing on helping people, when you're focusing on the bigger aspect of it, everything is going to be a byproduct. The money, the success, the trips, the rewards, all of this, the recognition, all of that things, it's just going to be a byproduct of you focusing on the bigger picture. It's going to be a byproduct of you focusing on the things that it's like, how can you serve the masses? It's like you find a way to service the many, for service to many leads to greatness. And everything you and I will ever have came to us as a result of the way we use our minds. And the one thing that we possess that makes us different from all creatures on this planet is our mindset. It's our mindset, because we're not like trees that we are supposed to just be planted and stay in one spot, and we only have a limit to grow. No, God gives us unlimited potential. Like, our gift back to God is what we do with it each and every single day. So I will ask you this: are you being persistent enough in your dreams? Are you being persistent enough to making sure that it's the progressive realization of your goals, for you to say, hey, you know what? I'm not where I want to be at, but I wasn't where I was yesterday. I'm not where I want to be at, but I wasn't where I was a year ago. I became a better person in the process. Like, have you ever done something for the first time and like, we're terrible at it? And anybody, like, you were horrible at it? Yes. And yes, 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 absolutely. Yes, I'm not talking to myself, right? Absolutely. And it's interesting because I tell you, so one of my ministries at church is I serve in the kids ministry. And I love the kids. If you know Auntie Pam loves the kids, right? I love, it is not babysitting, it is leadership development. We're teaching them how to be kind human beings, how to live a purpose-driven life, biblical principles to not only to apply to, their family life, to not only apply in school, just be good humans. Because can we agree we all need a little bit more to be better humans. And one of the things, we're at a high school at our new location. So every time we're at this high school, we have to set up the room. And sometimes that requires us to be there at 6 a.m. in the morning. I know, right? At 6 a.m. in the morning. And when all of the services are done, we have to put the things, we have to like take it all down. So we set these up and it's like in a cafeteria and we're setting up these kids' room by age and we're setting up for, the first time I did it, I was horrible. My kids leader kindly comes up to me and she's like, if you want, let me do this with Paul and you can just watch and then you'll probably get the hang of it. And it was like her nice way of saying, girl, please sit down because you have zero clue about what you're doing. Zero clue. And I respectfully was like, yes, ma'am, no worries. But I chuckled because in the way that she said it to me, I knew she was exactly Dee, right? She was being nice about it. And I was like, dang, I really suck that bad. Like I can't put together a kids room. And it's like, literally you're setting up barricades, but there's a strategy to it. And can we agree that there's a strategy that we must have when it comes to being successful? Can we agree that there's a strategy that we must have when it comes to strengthening our mindset? Can we agree that there's certain strategies that we have to learn when building this business? There's certain strategies that we have to learn when it comes to building the other people. Can we agree that there's certain things that we have to learn about our products? We need to learn maybe not a strategy about our products, but you better know some of the features. You better know some of the benefits. You better know that some of these things, that our plant-based products are non-GMO, are gluten-free, are soy-free, are sugar-free. You better know something about what you're talking about. But see, I had to learn the strategy. And it's like now I go set up the kids' room, the entire kids' rooms without anybody knowing. Right? Because I had to sit back and learn from somebody and take notes and see, okay, well, that worked. And here, and let me tell you, the same thing was when we were taking down the room. And she kindly was like, I was asking questions because I'm like, okay, it can't be that hard. I have to go carry it outside. But when we're carrying it outside, we got to fit it all in a trailer. And when you're fitting it all in this trailer, it's like playing Tetris. If you ever play Tetris, you know what I'm talking about. And you got to make sure that it's like little pieces to the puzzle, because if not, it won't fit. So it's the same thing that I was like, man, it's the same thing that I can think about with this business, because see, if we don't put the pieces together, it's not going to fit. If we don't put these pieces of the puzzle together, which is working on our mindset, which is having a system, absolutely, which is making sure we're doing the calls, which is making sure we're doing the income producing activities, which is then getting people to training. Interesting, because it's a system. See, all great organizations have systems in place that save you some time, energy, and money. But these systems are set in place because that is how well-oiled machines operate. But if you're not persistent enough in pursuing your dreams, in pursuing your goals, in pursuing the life that you want, the desires, what you want to do for your community, the legacy for your family, the legacy, it's like you're never going to be able to learn the system. You're never going to be able to get the byproduct of what it is that you want to do. So when it comes to being persistent, when it comes to seeing it through, I will tell you, Visualize where it is that you want to go. Visualize where it is that you want to be. And I tell you, and again, it's not imposing my faith and belief upon anybody on this call, but man, God gets all the glory for each and every single aspect of my story, from the good to the bad, to the ugly, to the ups, to the downs, because I would be nowhere without him. And I put him first in every single thing that I do. Center of my life. I live in purpose-driven, step-by-step, ordained every single day. And I say this to you because a lot of times we want to be the ones that have control of everything. We can't control the results, but we can control the activity. We can control our mindset. We can control how we feel. We can control how we think. We can control what we say, and we can control what we do. So when you're talking about being persistent, and when you're talking about making sure that you are taking ownership of your life, that you are persisting, and you have a different level of where it is that you want to be, and you have a certain expectancy, I'm going to tell you some things that have just helped me along the journey. And these are 10 things if you want to write them down, right? Note takers are history makers, just like leaders are readers. But here's the first one. Never lower your expectations. See, just because there is 50-50, it doesn't mean that you stop reaching for the next level. Just because the first qualification for the Dominican Republic all agent destination paid for trip is 25 points, it doesn't mean that you don't reach for 50. It doesn't mean that you don't reach for 75. It doesn't mean that you don't reach for 100. It doesn't mean that you don't keep reaching. It doesn't mean that you don't keep growing. It doesn't mean that you don't keep growing. Absolutely, Didi. We right there with you, reaching for that 100. But we cannot have a minimal mentality, because God did not create us to be minimal people. He created us for abundance. He created us to prosper. Abundance is our birthright. Prosperity is your birthright. But do you have that expectancy, or when things are not going the way that you want them to do you just say, hey, let me lower my expectations? No, don't lower your expectation, because we mustn't have a minimal mentality. Expectation is the breeding ground for miracles. Number 2, just keep swinging. Just keep swinging. Just keep swinging. We played softball about a month ago. We did like a community softball charity game. It was so amazing. I'm gonna tell you, your girl struck out probably more than I wanted to, but I kept swinging. I kept going. I kept going until, because here's what I understand. Success is a contact sport. You have to keep swinging. What does that swing look like? And when I'm telling you swing, just like in baseball, and if you have not played, it's okay. But understand that when you are swinging a bat, you have to swing you have to step and swing. You have to swing it all the way through. You have to keep swinging. You have to keep swinging, right? And eventually I made contact. Eventually, right, I got on base. Eventually, I got an RBI, a few RBIs, which is runs brought in, because I not only got on first base, I came all the way home and I brought more of my teammates home. You got to keep swinging. Success is a contact sport. You have to stay consistently persistent until. What does that look like? Keep swinging. Whether you're making the calls and they're not answering, keep swinging. Whether you're sending the messages and they're not responding like you would want to, keep swinging. Whether you set up appointments and you are there and they are not, keep swinging. Plans change, decisions do not. Are you still swinging? Keep swinging. Success is a contact sport, because the reality is, the moment you stop kicking your feet, you slow down. The moment you slow down, you lose. Because the worst thing about getting momentum is losing it. And the momentum may not be right now where you want it to be in your business. It may not be where you want it to be in your life, but it will be if you just keep swinging. It will be if you persist. It will be if you keep going. It will be if you keep pressing on, if you keep pounding the pavement. Number 3, Don't be afraid to switch lanes. Huh. And I'm going to be very, very clear on what I say. When I say don't be afraid to switch lanes, I'm not telling you to go switch teams. Understand? My jersey is always going to say Club Secret. It's always going to say that. But don't be afraid to switch lanes, because sometimes it's going to take you to the next level and it will allow you to take more people with you. What do I mean by that? Because I know somebody is like, well, girl, tell me what you're talking about, right? Tell me what you're talking about. Here's what I mean by that. Don't be afraid to switch lanes. So if you're doing push play and you're not getting the result that you want, don't be afraid to do a live presentation. And here's a secret. Right? Yeah, like how I did that. Here's a secret. The person that you're showing the presentation to for the first time has zero clue about what that's supposed to look like. Has zero clue that you're calling it getaways and it's supposed to be called escapes. Zero clue that you're calling daily deals, daily discounts. Has zero clue that you don't know how to pronounce paraben and you're saying parabine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because the reality is that if you keep pressing on, see, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. I will tell you, I want to use a real colorful word, but I'm not, because I got so much respect for a lot of y'all. But I have messed up a lot of times in my life, a lot of times. And every day I mess up one way or the other because I'm not perfect. All right. But here's what I do know. I don't quit. I keep going. I press on. I continue to persist. I continue to persevere. Sometimes it's you switching lanes. It's you coming from a different approach that's going to allow you to get to the next level. Sometimes because you switched lane means you switched a method of how you're going about your madness, is why you'll be able to inspire somebody to do the same. It's why somebody will get to the next level. It's why somebody will be like, man, you were vulnerable enough to share that with me. You were transparent enough to share your truth. I will tell you guys, I had to switch lanes, right? I did not know how to verbalize. I had a lot of trouble. Sunday on Resurrection Sunday on Easter made 2 years that my mom went to heaven. And for the longest time, I could not even articulate my story. I could not even articulate my come from. I couldn't even tell people that the reason I fell in love with Secret was because when the pandemic happened and she got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, I needed plant-based nutrition badly. I knew that I needed to starve the cancer and I needed to change her diet to vegan. And we tried over a dozen products and she didn't like not one of them. And listen, whether you are Caribbean or you're Dominican, you're Hispanic, it don't matter. You know you are your parents' child. It don't matter how successful you are, how smart you are. If they don't like it, they ain't gonna have it. And if you knew Dr. Benny, she wasn't having it if she ain't like it. So when I tell you we went through a dozen plant-based products, and then I was like, there's no coincidence that Secret came into our lives in the time that it did. My mother used to always say, no hay coincidencias, son diosidencias. There's no such thing as coincidences. They're God incidences, because God is too intentional to be coincidental. It took me almost 2 years to finally get to the point where I can actually verbalize my story, that I can actually share my truth, because emotionally, I was incapable of doing it, because in my mind, I was taught to only be strong. And I've been broken down and hurt by being vulnerable, that you are afraid to be vulnerable again and share your truth, because you never know when it's going to be used against you. but I had to switch the lane because I understood that I'm on assignment. And I understood that my truth is what's going to allow somebody to be able to share their truth. Me being vulnerable, me being transparent in my story is what is going to allow somebody else to relate to me. Because not everybody can relate to the success. Not everybody can relate to the strength, but so many people can relate to your brokenness. So many people can relate to your struggle. So many people can be set free by your story. I had to switch a lane in the way that I went about sharing my story. And because I owned that, because I owned my story, I have been able to not cry as much when I'm talking about it. And it just gets better because I'm getting better. And the more that I share it, the more that I own it, and the more it's going from something that I was afraid of sharing to something that I'm proud to share, because I understand that it's not about me, but it's about we. And there's somebody right now on this call, and if not everybody, that has a story to share that you've been scared to share, that you've been scared to own your truth, that you've been shying away from being authentically you. But it is in your weakness that he is made strong. It is in that weakness that you can go and impact so many more people than you can ever. And I'm not saying that I'm weak, because I am not. But I am telling you that it is okay for you to be vulnerable. It is okay for you to still own your strength in your vulnerability. But maybe you got to switch lanes. Maybe you got to switch the approach. Number 4, stay committed to the GPS. Don't just follow the GPS. Stay committed to it. Anybody use Waze on here? Anybody use Waze? What's your preference? What's the preferred method? If you go Google Maps, it's cool. But anybody use Waze? If you use Waze, type a W in the chat. If you've ever used Waze, W in the chat. Maybe a lot of you won't be able to relate to this, but have you ever used Waze and you end up being in like the backyard of somebody's house and you're like, how I got back here? But guess what? You stay committed to that GPS, you're going to get to your destination. Because what we don't understand is that that GPS sometimes is allowing us to avoid traffic, is allowing us to avoid an accident, is allowing us to avoid a setback, is allowing us to maybe take a detour that's going to get us to our destination faster. But isn't it the same with life? See, the GPS that I'm talking about is God's positioning system as well. What is that GPS for your life? What is that GPS for your business? Are you following it? Are you certain where that GPS is taking you? Are you certain of your destination? Because sometimes there's going to be detours, but God's rejection is always his protection each and every single time. Sometimes it's going to be a setback, but that's a setup for the comeback. Sometimes we need to take 2 steps back and we need to go around in a circle so that we can go straight in an arrow and we can get faster to where we're going. Because what God has for you is for you. And when you know where it is that you're going and where he's taking you, you're just like, you know what? I'm going to just follow the GPS. I'm going to stay committed, because it's not just following it, but it's staying committed to it. And I've had to stay committed to the GPS when I'm driving here in Tampa. I'm going to tell y'all that, right? Because I barely know where I'm going half of the time. Like I finally figured out almost 2 years, like how to get in my gym without using the GPS. But sometimes I still put the GPS on, if I'm being honest, because I know that there's detours. I know that there's traffics. I know that there's accidents. That's why they're called accidents, right? But the GPS are also the people that have what you want. The GPS are your leaders. The GPS is our executive team. The GPS is the secret regional training events coming up on Saturday. The GPS is also the big shot on Friday. The GPS is where you want to go. Do you know what that looks like for you? Stay committed to the GPS. Number 5, don't get used to telling stories about the past that you forget to create your future. Woo! Tell y'all. I heard that and I was just like, don't be snatching my edges, right? Like, listen, sometimes we get so caught up in the past, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's fun, whether it wasn't so much fun, but we let that story dictate our circumstance. We let that story limit our beliefs. We let that story hinder our success. We let that story hinder us from the next level. Don't get so used to telling stories about the past that you forget to create your future. So I say, when you think about the past, it gives you, when you think about the past, it gives you depression. When you think about the future, it causes anxiety. But living in the present is the present, and that's why it's called the present. Make sure each and every single day you're creating your future story. You're telling yourself where it is that you're going. You're telling yourself, you're speaking over your life what it is that you want. You're speaking over your life where it is that you want to go. You're speaking over your business, what you want to see happen. You're speaking over your teammates, what you want to see happen. You're declaring over your business. You're declaring over your family. You're declaring over every single aspect of your life. What story are you telling yourself? Because a lot of times the stories that we're telling ourselves are not conducive to our success. They're not helping us get to where we want to go. They're holding us back to where we want to escape from. So make sure that when you're telling that story, you're leaving room to create the story that you want for your future, and not just so focused on where you were, or focused on your brokenness, or focused on your mistakes, or focused on the things that just no longer serve you. Number 6, let your level upgrade your lifestyle. Do not think your lifestyle will upgrade your level. So what do I mean by that? A lot of times we look at this business, or we look at, the level that we are in life, or where it is that we want to be, or the level that we are mentally at, or the level that we're at physically, just stop us from upgrading our lifestyle. Because if you are on this call and you're like, you know what, I want to be a Crown Royale, I want to get to the next level in my business, whatever that next level is for you, type a 1 in the chat for me really quick. I want to see who I'm talking to. Type a 1 in the chat if you want to just get to that next level. If you're like, you know what, I want to get to this next level. I want to get to this next level. I know I deserve this next level. I know I deserve to upgrade my lifestyle. I know for a fact, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Let your level upgrade your lifestyle. Do not think that your lifestyle will upgrade your level. A lot of times we want to act as if, we have to be like the Crown Royales. We have to have a certain level of lifestyle. We have to be in this glitz and glamour, or this flash. No. Like, I'm not who I was 10 years ago. I'm not who I was 5 years ago. I darn sure I ain't even who I was 2 years ago, let alone 6 months ago. But I will tell you this, that you have to let your level upgrade your lifestyle, because the quickest way back is doing more than you need to, is thinking that you got to be keeping up with the Joneses when that's not what we're called to do. Let your level upgrade your lifestyle. Don't think your lifestyle needs to upgrade your level. Number 7, remember the feeling. Does anybody here remember that feeling when you first saw Club Secret? And I know there's some new people on here, but do you remember that feeling? Remember that feeling of how it was when you hit your first level? Remember that feeling of what it was when you got your first personal? Remember that feeling of what it was when you got your first customer? Remember that feeling? Like, what does that feeling look like for you? Remember that feeling. Remember that feeling. Number 8, be mindful. Be mindful just enough to fool ourselves to believe that we're all in. Be mindful, because when we come to think of it, are we really doing enough? Are we doing enough? Are we doing enough? Are you going to bed happy with what you gave to your business? Are you going to bed happy with what you gave to your family, to your fitness, to your fun, to your faith, to your fortune? Are you going to bed happy? Remember that feeling, but yes, be mindful. Be mindful of where it is that you want to go and what it is that you're doing every single day, because when you're talking about persisting, you understand that is we have to be mindful enough to say, hey, you know what? I can have somebody else. I can have Michelle hold me accountable, but it's like Pam has to hold Pam accountable. Yes, accountability matters because commitment lasts longer in community, but at the end of the day, it's you versus you. You got to look in the mirror and know you're the best to ever do it. You got to look in the mirror and say, hey, you know what? I didn't do enough today, but I'm going to do more tomorrow to make up for that, because you're doing enough because you are enough. A lot of times we let our mindset, we let our past, we let our failures, we let our mistakes, we let things that we didn't do so like define us. No, those things are not supposed to define you. They're supposed to help you be more determined to get better. They're supposed to help us grow. But just be mindful that you are enough. And the more mindful that you know you're enough, you're going to do more than enough. All right. Number 9, be kind. Be kind. And I say this because never say I told you so. See, as assertive as I am about where I'm going, I've learned that it's okay to be aggressive in building your business, but be assertive with people, but be kind, because people are fighting battles that you have no idea of. Never be that person that's like, I told you so, right? Because just live your life. Live your life, do the work, and let your results speak. Your results, your lifestyle will tell people, I told you so, without you having to tell them. There's not one person that I don't show that is just like, man, I remember, like, I've been seeing you completely live a different lifestyle the last 10 years. I didn't have to tell them I told you so. They told themselves that just by me living my life, because I'm doing everything I said I was going to do. Can you say the same? But be kind, right? Be kind. Like you get more bees with honey. Number 10, be thankful for the hardships. Be thankful for the no's. Be thankful for the things that you feel that not made you fail, but perhaps didn't get you closer to where you wanted to be at. And why do I say that? Because every hardship has a blessing. Every hardship has a blessing. And I've seen God each and every single day, not only in my life and so many people's lives. And I see it and I hear it into story after story after story. The pain will help you appreciate it more. He will turn that pain to purpose. He will turn that pain into power each and every single day. Because here's what I'll tell you. While you're going through it, God is already pulling you out. Sometimes you think you're going through it and you're just like, man, this ain't it. But while you're going through it, he's already pulling you out. So with that being said, make sure you guys are registered for our secret regional training events this Saturday. Bring a guest to Friday's event. I don't care if you got to kidnap somebody. Listen, man, we have such iconic individuals training in our market. It is unfair. Like, we are not playing fair. And when I tell you, it is going to be absolutely incredible. It is going to be incredible. This weekend will be the reset that you need for your life, the reset that you need for your business, the reset that you need. If you're not even in need of a reset, if you just want to focus, if you want to be around great people, if you just want to take your life to the next level, be at the secret regional training. If you have work, call out sick. I'll give you a doctor's note. I'm joking. Okay. I'm not going to give you a doctor's note. But if you need it, you know what I'm saying? We can talk about that. But no, but seriously, make sure you are registered for this weekend's training event. It is going to be absolutely iconic. The people that go to training make up to 10 times more money. That is no cap. That is a fact. I am living proof of that. Okay. And so are so many people on this call, from JAON to Josh Valentine to Kevin Phipps to Eric Brzbowski to Dana James to Michelle and Roscoe Taylor to Muzaffar Najmi to Jesse Mack, like Trish Verse, like I could go on and on and on and on and on. Like all of these people, they have everything they have is because they never missed a training, and neither should you. With that being said, breakfast has been served. Thank you guys so much. As always, I love each and every single one of you. I am rooting for you. I look forward to seeing you guys this weekend. If you're going to be in Tampa, right? Tampa Bay is the way. It is going to be an absolute movie, but make sure you are at a training near you, in a city near you. God bless. And looking forward to seeing each and every single one of you guys. Thank you so much. I read each and every single comment. As always, I am just here to serve you, and I hope I added value. Thank you guys so much. Great day, and God bless. Let's get it.